What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the Trader Shop. My name is Jay Seals, and today I was in a fight for my life, y'all. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna hold y'all. I was in a fight for my life. I took 3 trades on the day, 2 on NQ, 1 on ES. Lost both trades on NQ, and then took a really good trade on ES that basically brought me back to what I consider break even. I mean, yeah, I'm down like $94.80, but who really cares, right? It's a very, very, very small red day, which in the grand scheme of things is good. And then on top of that, my one winner on the day basically took care of my 2 losses. And I did some things right, I did some things wrong, but at the end of the day, I'm pretty much back to square one on the day. So let me go over the trades that I took on NQ, and then I'll talk about the trade that I took on ES. So over here on NQ, I'm not gonna lie, I had a much more bullish bias on NQ, even though we were selling down. I thought that we could at least come back up and retest these highs here. So what I did was I was looking at the bounce that we got here and the bounce that we got here, and I was looking at this as a potential inverse head and shoulders as we rallied up. I was just looking for us to come down one more time, put in another low, and then ride the market up and, break this high and then take profit up here at this high. And yeah, that did not end up happening. And I ended up getting in at about 20,710.25. I had my stop down here at this low. So if you watched my video yesterday, one thing that I talked about wanting to work on was putting my stop at a true invalidation point. So I had my stop down here at these lows, but what I ended up doing was, as we were coming down, and we were coming down kind of aggressively, once we kind of made this last run up, I moved my stop over to here because I didn't want to give it the full stop. I was risking about $200 in the trade. So I ended up getting taken out on this candle right here for like a $200 loss. And I was okay with that because the market ended up running that stop anyway. So I saved myself a little bit of money on that trade. But my thesis wasn't dead in the water yet. As we started to kind of run the stop and come back up, I ended up getting long on this candle here. Oh no, it was this candle here is where I ended up getting long again, looking at that kind of inverse head and shoulders playing out here, where we had our shoulder right here, our head, and then our last right shoulder here. But we quickly ended up running that, and I ended up going 0 for 2, down, I think it was like $391 on the day. So I was already down 2 trades. I thought I took 2 pretty good longs that just didn't work out. Obviously on NQ, we continued to run down and continue to run down even lower. Very, very selly. But on ES, we looked very different. So I went over to ES, and on ES, what I noticed was that we were holding these lows here. These were actually the pre-market low / outside of demand zone. So if I go over to a 15-minute chart real fast, and you can kind of see this pre-market chop that we had down here. If I were to draw a line, we were holding this this pre-market chop area right here where I actually got long. And then below that, we actually had a nice little 30-minute demand zone. And that was right over here. There we go. So we had this really nice 30-minute demand zone. If I could draw it, man, I got to get closer because it's not working out. Okay, there we go. So we had this really nice 30-minute demand zone that we were holding. And so because of that, I was like, okay, this is a pretty good setup. I can look to take the market long because we continue to bounce kind of off of this area. We're double bottoming. We're putting in a higher low, whatever you want to call it. And so I got long at 56.3375, which actually I was a little bit mad about because I got in at like the top of this candle, and I really wanted to get in down here a lot lower. And I had to sit through a little bit of drawdown. The market pulled back. Then we put in another lower high here. Didn't really put in a higher high, but we were putting in lower highs. And then the market started to take off really nicely. Now my profit target was all the way up here. I think it was like 42, so it was like a little tick lower. And we didn't end up getting to my profit target. I was a little upset about it, honestly. If you watch the stream today, at the very end, because it was at the end of the stream, I was like so adamant about getting this profit target. I wanted this profit target so bad. And I really thought that the market could actually push higher just based on the fact of where we were on NQ compared to ES. I mean, ES was holding strong. NQ was dumping, but it was coming back up on this rally. But I ended up stopping myself out or just taking profit at 56.3975. So it was roughly like a $300 trade. And then the market ended up coming all the way back down almost to my break even where I got in originally, and then ended up rallying right up past my profit target and even giving a little bit more. But to be completely honest, I wouldn't have sat through that pullback anyway. There's no way I would have sat through all of this. I'd have been crying all the way down about how I gave up, all 7 points that I was up, or 6 points at these highs here. So that'd have been a really tough hold for me, and I probably wouldn't have been able to do it anyway. I would have just been like, you got to be kidding me. But the market did end up rallying up from here, but I still pretty much followed my plan. And yeah, I ended up going 1 for 3 on the day, and pretty much break even. So the biggest takeaways from today for me personally is just the fact that your risk to reward really does matter, because that's what's going to keep you in the game for the longest amount of time possible, right? Like I took 2 losses, and yeah, I'm still red a little bit, but I could have been much more red had I not held on to that trade for as long as I did, right? Like playing from behind really sucks, but you have to maximize your opportunities when you're in, good trades. And so I did that for the most part today. Definitely not, the greatest being red yesterday and now being red a little bit today. But I took way less trades today. And that's another thing I'm going to be working on as well, is just taking about 3 trades a day is probably going to be the maximum amount of trades I take when I'm trading. If I lose, 3 times in a row, I got to call it quits, because things are only going to get worse. But as long as I can win that last trade, then I should be pretty close to being break even to maybe just small red on the day, right? So going forward, that's really what I'm going to be working on, as well as, any other problems that end up arising. But that's all I have for this one. Please make sure that you hit that like button, subscribe if you're liking these daily recaps of my trades, and make sure you catch us live. We were live today. We were streaming Powell. That's another thing. Powell was just going crazy with the market, every which way with Congress. I mean, it was nuts. But we had Powell on live today. We were watching the press conference that he has. He's got another press conference tomorrow, so I expect the market to be kind of crazy again tomorrow. Hopefully we're not as rangy as we were today, but you never know. But yeah, come tap in with us. We'll be live again tomorrow. We're live Monday through Friday, starting at 9 a.m. EST. So make sure you tap in, and I will catch y'all tomorrow for another recap. Peace.